Hello and welcome to Aviation 101 with Laura. I am coming to you with more from Task C, Weather Observations, Analysis, and Forecasts. This is my ongoing series where I am going through a simulated aircraft dispatcher oral exam with questions, and then another version of the video will include me trying to answer these questions. So acting as the examiner and then acting as a student, applicant, answering the questions. So last time, and I encourage you, please go check out the first one on Task C because there was a lot that I covered. But this is going to continue with some of the items listed in objective subpoint 2, and then continuing on with pilot reports, and we will get into surface analysis and more of the following: significant weather, prog charts, and winds aloft. Again, this is a somewhat long series because it is really just a lot. As aircraft dispatcher oral exam, you're going to have to know your weather, and that is going to be really evident if you don't know your stuff on this part of the oral. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to go on Aviation Weather Center, which is aviationweather.gov. You can go ahead and follow along. I'm going to go to the PIREPs, and we'll pull up some PIREPs and load it, and we get a fair amount of PIREPs, but if I make the window longer, we can get a lot more pilot reports. Okay, so we'll switch over to me being the examiner here. All right, could you read this pilot report for me that I've highlighted here? Okay, cool. How about you read this one for me? Okay, excellent. How would you know if one of these pilot reports were an urgent pilot report? Please tell us about this pilot report then. Okay, tell me about this pilot report there that I highlighted. Okay, awesome. Good job reading your PIREPs. Thank you. Okay, well, let's go on to some other areas. So let's look at my decision support imagery, and we're going to take a look at the prog chart. So I'm going to click prog chart and then forecast hour of 0000, and this is going to give me essentially my surface analysis chart. And so let's ask some questions about that. Okay, so what is the surface analysis chart for, really? Okay, awesome. And what is the significance of these H's and L's then on here? Okay, what are these gray lines, like this one that I'm tracing out here? What are those? What's the significance of isobars being closer together, like up here over, looks like Canada, north of Wisconsin and Michigan? Okay, what is this front symbol that's coming out of this low pressure here, the purple one? And what is this blue line with the triangles that's coming out of there, below that occluded front? Okay, what's the difference with this other cold front that's got like a weird dashed line going on with that one? Okay, well, I found another weird one. What is this one that's on northern Minnesota? There's like every other one, so what is that? Okay, what kind of front is this red one with the half circles? Cool. What are these dashed lines here in West Texas and northern Mexico here? What is that? Ah, so what's a trough? What is this symbol here over the Gulf right here just south of Florida Panhandle? Okay, cool. Good job on your prog, or the surface analysis chart, really. Okay, cool, thank you. All right, let's look at the significant weather chart since we're here. So we're going to look at the significant weather high level chart. To get there, I'm clicking on that, going for 00, and I'll pick chart area A because that is in our part of the world in the United States. And I should also point out this chart changed in the somewhat recent past. You might have an examiner come to you with the old style of prog chart, like if they have pre-printed weather information. I can't control that, so I would recommend looking at my video on my channel where I go over the old style of this chart, but this is the current style of the chart. And really, you should be asked about the current style. Can't predict if they're going to do that, but okay. All right, so what is this high-level significant weather prog chart all about? Okay, so what is this big black line cutting through the United States here? Okay, so how do you read these speed of the jet stream here? What are the little two lines on either side of this? What is this area 9 that's pointed at here? What's that D with the dot? What's the K with the dot? What is this bubbled area here talking about with the red? Okay, what are these things here in, looks like, bottom part of Mexico and Central America down here? Okay, what is this thing in the middle of the Pacific out here? It's just Fausto. What are these blue lines? Like this one here that's north of that jet stream you were telling me about. Okay, so let's look at the winds and temperatures aloft forecast, and you can tell me about some of those things. And how we're going to find that is go to wind and temp data, and we'll just pick my part of the country. Okay, so tell me about the wind and temperatures aloft over Mobile, Alabama at 34,000 feet. How did you know the temperature was negative? Okay, good. What about the wind in Birmingham at 39,000 feet? What's that predicted to be? What about here? What does this mean? 990028. Okay, and what about here over Dubuque where it says 811053 at 39,000 feet? How do you read that? Okay, so let's talk about the freezing level. How do you read this chart and what is it good for? Okay, what is a CWA? What does that stand for with regards to aviation weather? A CWA is a center weather advisory, so that is going to be issued by various air traffic control centers if there is some kind of weather phenomenon happening that doesn't meet the criteria for issuing an AirMet or SIGMET, or it is to alert people of weather happening, but it maybe hasn't reached a AirMet or a SIGMET yet. Like eventually the National Weather Service is going to issue one, but they haven't issued it yet. So that is the purpose of a center weather advisory. It can be for very similar things as an AirMet or a SIGMET or a convective SIGMET. It's just hasn't been issued yet or doesn't meet the criteria for an AirMet, but it's still significant information for pilots flying in that local area. Okay, so we've covered a lot of these areas, but next time we're going to continue on into like field condition reports, hazard forecasts, talking about volcanic ash, talking about notices to airmen, and then looks at some of these other, we're going to look at some of these other charts if I can find them for you guys. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you want to practice, go to the video where I don't have the answers, or if you want to study, do the one that does have the answers. Thank you for watching Aviation 101 with Laura, and have a great day.